Nice guys destroy women because they put them in a place in the relationship where the woman has no safety and security. The core wound of the nice guy is if they're not okay, I'm not okay. So I have to fix them. I have to fix everyone's not okayness. Being a truly good man, it demands mastery. It demands competence at minimum across every layer of the human existence. Like, you allowed her to treat you this way. You have no boundaries. You have no boundaries at all. You don't have any boundaries in your finances. You don't have any boundaries in the way she talks to you, the way she treats you. You don't have anything going on there. You're just doing whatever she wants you to do so that she doesn't leave. And that's a guarantee to make her leave or to make you miserable for the rest of your life.
Who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, so my name's J.R. Harvey. I'm the leader and owner of an organization called the King's Community, where we primarily focus on men's work, which, we do coaching for guys who are struggling in different areas of life. Most often, what I find is guys who are struggling with their relationships, whether that be marriages or just personal relationships. That's probably the most painful thing that guys experience in life. It's the most difficult thing for them to navigate in life. So we do a lot of work in there with the relationships or recovery after divorce and bad breakups, and sometimes guys who have been through, narcissistic, abusive situations and false allegations, and really just the deepest ends of the pool, kind of the worst things that can happen to guys. For me, I primarily focus on guys who relate with the path that I took. And in our community, we have like two communities that kind of work together. One is the Warrior's Way with my good friend Rick Yee, and then our community, the King's Community. We kind of come from extreme opposite positions, where he grew up kind of being the selfish asshole that would just kind of destroy his own life eventually and burn his relationships down to the ground. And I come from the people-pleasing nice guy that would just allow people to walk all over him and like happily sacrifice my life for anybody else. So
Raising my hand.
Yeah. There's a lot of us out there. So for me, I primarily work with those guys, the nice guys, because I resonate with them. They resonate with the way I communicate in my experience, and all of the best practices and material that I've created really is focusing on overcoming that stuff, because that's what I know best. Not that I can't help other people. It's just, this is where I'm called to work. So that's who I am. That's what I do. And thank you again for having me on, man.
Thank you for being here. Let's unpack being a nice guy.
Okay.
So this is a quote: "Women like rich guys who treat them like shit." I hear it all the time. I heard it in your content. Guys saying nice guys finish last. Women saying, I don't know why I always pick the wrong guy. So when someone throws that statement at you, what do you actually say? What's true in it and what's just wounded storytelling?
Well, yeah, women like rich guys who treat them like shit. I would say there's probably a specific type of women that like that, right? Just like nice guys seem to attract really unpleasant women who treat them like shit, that have like a high need for more and more and more, right? So I would say, yeah, you're not wrong. Like people are attracted to different things because of the wounds that we have. But as in just overarching, like this is true for everybody in all cases, I don't believe that at all. Right? People are attracted to rich men because they have abundance. And women have a high need for safety and security. And a man who has created abundance or has abundance, it's an indicator that he could provide safety and security. A guy on the opposite extreme that's like living on the streets, there's not a lot of safety and security to be seen there. Like it's just an indicator of that. It doesn't necessarily mean he can do that in all areas, financially for sure, maybe physically for sure, emotionally maybe not. So then when it comes to the nice guys, what you find is I should say I don't identify them with them anymore, but like, you probably relate with this, where you would look at the assholes and we would envy them. We kind of envy them, right? Because it's like, I'm such a good person. Why does that guy get all the girls? Why does every girl leave me for one of these guys? What's the deal with that? And I think there's two pieces of it. One is, sometimes women are just fooled by the facade of like what a guy actually is. And then the other piece of it is nice guys also have a convoluted idea as to what an asshole is. It's why they're nice guys. They have suppressed a lot of the masculine traits that are needed to become a good man. And they have grown up seeing, like, because of different paths that guys take to become a nice guy. A couple of the common paths are one being having like a really asshole, selfish type of father that is constantly, like, people are constantly pointing at him saying, don't be like your dad. Don't be like that guy. Maybe he didn't even show up, right? And everyone's just like, don't be like him. But maybe he's very assertive. Maybe he is like very strong in different ways. He just like wasn't good at taking care of his children. It didn't mean he was bad in all areas, but you look at him and just say, I will be everything that he is not. I will not be anything that he is. So there's this suppression of those traits. For me, I grew up in an household where I had a feminist mom, like extreme feminist mom. She's deeply hurt by men. So she would constantly be saying things like all men are trash, men are bad, like men are stupid. The Y chromosome seems to be some type of birth defect. Like these just, these things that are kind of poking and joking, but in all seriousness, like she has a dislike towards all men. And she would, especially when you look at the whole patriarchy conversation with the feminists, like any authority that comes from a man is bad, right? He only got it because he did something against, like, that isn't moral to achieve that, or he did it because he just likes to control other people. So I would constantly have this experience of pointing out men in leadership positions like the president of the country or the coach or the principal, or these men who are leaders, being told that those guys are assholes. Don't be like them. But those guys who are in these leadership positions have a lot of the positive masculine traits as well. Even if they weren't a great leader, even if they, there were things that you should look at and be like, well, don't do that, right? You throw out the baby with the bathwater, right? You just throw it all out. And nice guys look at these guys who have any of these traits. Maybe you're bullied by kids growing up and like you see them as assholes, but those are the guys who, they were assertive. They spoke their mind. They were very direct in the way they communicated. Like they were strong physically. There's all these things that they had that you're just like, I don't want to be like them. So I think nice guys, you have to zoom out. It's like, look at all of the successful men in the past few generations, like the athletes and the businessmen, where it's like Tom Brady and Kobe Bryant and Peyton Manning, and look at the businessmen like Elon Musk and Steve Jobs and Jeff Bezos. Nobody is walking around saying, wow, those guys are such nice guys. Those are the nice guys. Like, what a nice guy. They're not saying that. Most of society would look at them and be like, that dude's a killer. Like that dude's an animal. That dude is kind of an asshole. And a lot of society will look at them and shame them for some of the things they do. Like, I don't like the way he talks to his teammates. I don't like the way he treats his employees. I don't like, some of his beliefs that he talks about when it comes to his faith or his politics or whatever it is. But what you can say for sure about all of those guys is they're pretty authentic to who they are, right? They don't care what other people are thinking of them. They're just moving towards their mission. Okay. And every guy looks at people like that, and we would all love to have the type of success that they have. I don't want to be any of those guys, but I would love to achieve the type of impact and success that they have, right? And then you contrast that, like, who are the nicest guys you've ever met? How are they doing? Not great. Most of the time, not great. So it's like we have to find this middle ground of there's a lot of good traits that the nice guys have. their intentions are the purest of intentions. You can trust these guys normally. Can't trust them in like scenarios where you need them to stand up for themselves or like have a backbone. Like they will do some pretty destructive things. They destroy women. Nice guys destroy women because they put them in a place in the relationship where the woman has no safety and security. It doesn't exist because of his inability to deal with her emotions. The core wound of the nice guy is like, if they're not okay, I'm not okay. So I have to fix them. I have to fix everyone's not okayness because I don't deal with those emotions. Why? Because I was taught to suppress those emotions because it made my caregivers not okay whenever I showed them, right? So this inability to deal with a very emotional being, right? There's no safety and security in the emotional side of the relationship. She feels like she has to create it for herself. She has to wear a mask around you. And you're also not, there's all these other places that you're going to be deficient at, even though you have the biggest heart and your intentions are pure. You just want her to be happy. You want everyone to be happy. You want everything to be good. Your intentions are pure, but all of the behaviors that the nice guys do are incorrect. And then when you look at the asshole guys, who also are not healthy, like they're going to blow up their stuff too. But when you look at them, it's like this exact opposite where their behaviors are correct. They do a lot of the right things. Like they truly don't care about what people think about them. Good. Great job. Like you're on your way, right? They do typically, they are high performers a lot of times. They are more successful. They do have confidence, right? That a lot of the nice guys don't have. But in the exact opposite way, their intentions are purely selfish. Like they really don't care about other people that much. They're just in it for themselves. And what can I get from this? What can I get? How does this benefit me, 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 me? So both sides are bad, but there's a mending, a melting of the two where we take like the behaviors and the intentions and we bring them together. And that's like getting across to the nice guys. I think the most important thing is you can't force them to see it, but if you can like open up these doorways and allow them to go in there to see what they find in the direction of how is what you're doing and who you are hurting other people. If you get them to really objectively look at that, like how have you really hurt all of these people in these different ways because of the way you are, when they can start to see it, because that's the last thing that they want to do. If you can kind of break the belief system in that way, I find it very helpful with the guys.
That will be like super incongruent with their identity. So I bet that is also like one of the hardest part to deal with when it comes to coaching a nice guy into seeing how do you showing up in this way hurt your surrounding, your family, your kids, your colleagues, your friends. So how do you get them to like, how do you diagnose them in a way where they like finally realizing like, I can't go on like this anymore. This is not healthy for me and this doesn't help anyone. I want to give you some value in this podcast and thank you for listening. So let me give you something useful right now. Most men don't struggle because they're weak. They struggle because they're unclear. So not being clear. That's why I built the Manhood Mastery Quiz. It takes only 2 minutes and it shows you exactly where you're crushing it and where life is crushing you and what actually deserve your focus next. So you will get instant results, no email rabbit hole, just a clear snapshot of your life as a man today. Take the quiz, links in the show notes. Clarity is power, and power changes everything.
Well, for the nice guys, it's a very different type of process than with the asshole guys, because the asshole guys know. They're like, yeah, I do fucked up stuff. I know that. I got to stop. Can you help me stop? I don't know how to stop. I just keep doing it. The nice guys, they think they're good.
Exactly.
They truly believe that about themselves. Right? So this question you're asking, like, how do you get them to see it? Pain. In my experience, the nice guys only begin to see it when shit is just beginning to totally fall apart. When they're seeing, they're reaping what they sowed, right? And they're looking around and they finally have to ask the question of like, did I do all this? Like, what have I done to deserve this? How did I mess all this up? I thought I was doing everything right. I thought I was a good person. I thought I was a good guy, but like she's leaving me and she's taking my kids, or, this has all happened. This is all going down. It's a level of pain that they have to experience for them to really even think about beginning the work. And I don't know. I honestly, it's really unfortunate. Like all the guys that come into our community, they are just as close to rock bottom as you're going to find a guy. So they have to experience the pain of the decisions that they made, and enough pain that they'll finally be able to look objectively at what's been happening and kind of face this stuff head on and seek out help to change it. Don't know that there's other ways that are like works for everybody. I think it's just a common thing for the nice guys, which really, it's really challenging. Because if you ever see a nice guy, I mean, I'm sure you have, because you've done your own work and you come from the side, you can see it in the other guys around you.
100.
And when you try to challenge them, when you try to talk to them, they can't hear it, right?
Yeah, they're deaf.
They can't hear it. They can't see it.
Yeah.
So it's like for us and anybody who's in coaching, anybody who's doing, therapy or any type of work like this, the number one thing you have to have coming in from the people that you're working with is willingness. Like they have to have this willingness and this openness to like, help me change. Like, I don't want to be like this. But the nice guys have this curse of like, I'm the good one. I'm the good one. All these other people are fucking this up. If everyone was just like me, the world would be a perfect place. They just have no idea how wrong they are.
I'm smiling because I recognize so much of what you're saying. And does the nice guy fall into the category with the man who says, I'm good, but he's dying inside? There are so many men walking around saying they're fine, they show up, they provide, they smile, but inside they feel numb, angry, lonely. And what do we say to that man? And is it the nice guy that falls into this category, or what's your experience?
It's all men.
All men fall into this category.
I think all men fall into this category.
Yeah.
And a big piece of it, it's starting to change and shift. Like it's very small right now, but there's a lot of people that are starting to stand up for men. There's a lot of people that are like speaking up and beginning to challenge the way society has been. But the challenge that I see with this, men don't receive empathy. And the reason I think that's true is because leaders don't receive empathy, right? Like if you just stop paying some of your employees, or if your boss stopped paying you one day, would you be like, oh, I better go check to see if he's okay? I hope everything's doing, I hope he's all right. I better check on him. No, you'd be like, hey, fucker, I got a family to feed. Like, where are my paychecks? I've been working this whole time. Like, leaders don't receive empathy. The only empathy leaders receive is from other leaders, right? And this is why when it comes to men, we are the default leader of the home. We're the default leader of society. We've been the default leader of everything. We're built for that specifically. Women don't. Look at every household that is run by the woman. It's filled with dysfunction.
Can I just like pause for a second here?
Yes.
You were raised by a feminist mom.
Correct.
And I think Sweden is the, how do I like, yeah, I don't want to get murdered tonight. How do I say? Okay, we have the most amount of feminists per capita in Sweden.
What are you doing there?
We are the leading country when it comes to gender equality studies in universities. So that's a whole nother rabbit hole to go down in. But when you are like, if we go back and you're saying we are the default leaders of everything, how do you communicate that to a feminist?
You can't.
Or just imagine that every woman I meet on the street here is a feminist here in Sweden. I'm over exaggerating, of course. The ones who are listening into this podcast are mostly men, but there are some women that are reaching out to me. But yeah.
So what's the question? How would we communicate this to feminists?
Yeah, for women that are super indoctrinated into feministic ideologies and ideas.
It's the same type of conversation we just talked about with the nice guys. Like if they're so set in their belief systems, and because it's a religion,
Yeah.
it truly is. You've been indoctrinated into an ideology, into a religion, where it's like you can't challenge this. If you get challenged, what happens? They get shamed. You get shamed and you get kicked out of the group. You're not one of us anymore. It's not a real woman. She's not one of us. She doesn't care about women. She's a pick-me girl, right? So it's very challenging to have any types of conversations like this around, religion and politics, because people are so set in their belief systems. They're just locked in there. And anything that like if even if I were to say the perfect logical thing to just destroy their whole system, they can't allow it to be destroyed because that would break them. It would break everything, just like the nice guy. It would break his whole identity.
Did you see the documentary, What is a Woman?
Yes.
That is exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, with certain questions, like they couldn't leave their reality behind.
Right.
You couldn't shatter their worldview.
No. So they'll either dance around it or they'll exit the conversation. And they'll do it in a way where it's like, it's your fault I'm leaving. So it's challenging to have those types of conversations with people that aren't open to having them. So like, why have them? Right. But coming back to this piece, like this, if you just take a look at all the statistics on like the single mother homes versus just a single father home, like it's very obvious. I believe why that is we're built to be together. Of course, we're better together. Both of us, men, we're better together. When we become a team, that's when magic really happens. Like my life, and the whole point of a relationship, by the way, you guys should ask yourselves this, like, what's the point of being in a relationship? Why are we doing all of this? What's the point? Well, I think the point is so that my life is better with her than it would be without her. And her life is also better with me than it would be without me. And we're going to latch on to these common goals and common mission, and we're going to work together to achieve that. Most people wouldn't even know how to answer that first question. And nobody, like probably 90% of people who are married don't have common goals with their spouse. Like, what are we working towards other than her happiness or just happiness? Like, what is it? What are we doing?
I have such a grin right now because it's such a simple question. Yet we don't have the answer for it, oftentimes.
It's never asked.
It's never asked, exactly.
Like nobody is being taught any of these things of like how to be a man, how to be a woman, how to have a healthy relationship anymore. And a majority of us didn't see one growing up, that's for sure. Right. And now we're at this state where like over here in the States, the divorce rate is 50%. And if I had to guess, like just looking at it from my own perspective and opinion, I would say relationships are just like everything else in life. It is the minority that actually wins, right? Like you have a successful business. You're the minority. Why? Why would you say it's the minority that are successful in business? Like, why is that?
Holy shit, that's a tough question. I've been thinking about it a lot because there are like, after 10 years in business, I realized there are so many details going into it. And this is not my first rodeo. I failed at many businesses before. So I think the answer is that most people give up.
And it's really hard.
And it's really hard. It's tough.
And did you have to find people to teach you things?
All the time. Every day still.
All the time.
Yeah.
How many different how much money have you invested into like people
Holy
that
shit.
help you?
I'm going to delete this from the podcast, but you can see the books like Tony Robbins, Gary Vaynerchuk, Alex Hormozy, It's stacked out here. Ray Dalio, the courses, the mentorships, the consultations. I don't have a number, but it's a lot.
It's a lot,
Yeah.
right? It's a lot. People treat their businesses like that. They don't treat their marriage like that.
Hmm.
How much have you invested into learning how to make your marriage better?
Personally, a lot, but that's not the rule of thumb here.
Right. It's not the rule of thumb anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And at one point, I think the communities and like the churches and the institutions took care of this and helped with that. I don't know how good they did, honestly, but it was something.
Yeah.
Now there's no community. Like there really isn't. Like most places you go, like the neighbors aren't hanging out. They're not like people don't know each other anymore. Most people don't even know the names of their neighbors, let alone like hang out with them and have relationships with them. So there's no community anymore. Everyone here, like you move away from your families. So like you lose that support system. Most people didn't have like good men and women kind of guiding them the way in the first place. So it's like, how are you going to figure this out? Becoming a good man is one of the most difficult. It's the most difficult thing you can do outside of like having a healthy marriage.
That was one of my questions here. What is a good man? How do you become a good man?
Yeah. I think there's so much nuance to becoming a good man. Right. It's challenging because there's this push and pull. And at the root, like I said earlier, it's leadership. So like to be a good man, you have to be a really, really good leader. And for anybody who's like a manager at a company, you're like, I'm a leader. You're not a leader. You haven't built anything. Like you've built a company. Everything's on you. You're the leader. You have to make all the decisions, and all of the risk is also on you. These people can go find a new job and do whatever if worse comes to worse. But like for you, this is everything. Right? So there's this piece of building the structure, because you've had to figure out the structure, the whole structure of the thing, all the different systems that go into place, all the different rules and boundaries of how we operate inside of this thing. So being a truly good man, it demands mastery. It demands competence at minimum across every layer of like the human existence: mind, heart, body, spirit, finances. And you've got to do that while no one's cheering you on for doing it. Because while you're building those competencies, was anyone like, we're so proud of Morgan, he's doing it, as you're like failing business after business after, they're probably looking at you like, dude, just go get a job.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's
I've
not
heard it so many
rewarded.
times.
It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
rewarded for going down that path. It's not celebrated, but you truly have to mentally, you have to be clear and disciplined and tactical and strategic, while the culture is like addicted and distracted. There's never been more distractions, right? And then when you think about the heart side of things, like we have to keep our hearts open. Because you know the path, like to become a high earner, you can just shut that thing off. I look at people like, Alex Hormozy is a great example, where it's like, that guy has a repressed heart, right? That he shut that thing off. And that can be really useful to be productive in the areas of mind and body. It's very useful. But as far as like fulfillment in your life and connections with other people, it's not. It makes that very challenging. So you have to keep your heart open without it getting destroyed or becoming resentful. And then the body side of it, like we have to remain healthy. We have to remain strong. We have to be able to physically protect, right? And kind of carry the weight of all of this without being exhausted. You don't get a lot of rest when things are going wrong, and particularly like you just have to keep going. And then there's also a spiritual aspect of it where, for me, like I needed connection to higher power. I wouldn't be here if I didn't have connection with higher power. There's no chance I would have made it through any of the stuff that I made it through if I didn't have connection with higher power. And if I also didn't have didn't develop a moral compass that was just constantly attempting to point true even when no one was looking. And then you have this other aspect of it where financially, like this is a big piece of it, whether we want to admit it or not. We have to be able to provide financially. You know, we have to be able to balance like the stewardship and the risk taking and the long term vision of how all of this comes together. So to be a good man is balancing all of that. It's strength with compassion and authority with humility and independence, because you you got to count on yourself really at the end of the day, but with brotherhood, because we need our brothers. We need good men with us to iron sharpens iron to push us and to be there for us if we do happen to fall. And it's this choice of responsibility over comfort again and again and again, long after the motivation has ended. And he's expected to do all this to protect his people without controlling them, to provide abundance for them without depleting himself, to feel deeply and be able to express his emotions without collapsing into depression or exploding into rage, to be able to, murder someone if they come attack your family, but to also be able to like hold and cherish your child and connect with these little beautiful innocent creatures. Like there's so much duality in being a man and becoming a really good one. And that's why when I look at that and you like break that down, you like everything I just said, you're like, how the fuck is anyone supposed to figure that out on their own? There's no chance. There's no chance. None of that can just be learned through your experiences. You need other good men who have figured it out because they had someone too. They had someone to pass down the torch to them. And I think that's just it's a huge piece of what's missing in the young men's lives right now. That's why all of these guys on social media are like blowing up, because it looks like they have the answers. They have money and they're jacked. It's like, we gravitate towards that. Mind, body is what we do, right? You're like, oh, they got a bunch of money and they're super jacked. Let me hear what he has to say. He's got it figured out. So I don't know if that exactly answers the question, but in my mind, like it's this combination of all these things. It's the strength with the compassion and the leadership and authority and decision making with the humility. Like it's just this mix of being able to balance all that. That's the most difficult part that I've found through my own journey. Is like for you, you've built a business, right? And you figured out how to put the gas pedal down to the floor, and you can just go and go and go and go. But it's like, now I have a wife and I have 3 children and I have all of these other relationships. It's like, how do I balance mind, heart, body, spirit in a way that they're all kind of flowing together? And, sometimes different seasons require extra in different areas. That's the real challenge for me as I go further down the journey, is once you've built competency in these areas, through like really pushing hard on certain ones through different seasons. Like, how do I keep all of this balance now? Right.
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir here. I want to remember one of your pieces of content. You have an epic Instagram account. I think it's 1.9 million followers. How long have you been on it?
That's been probably about like 3 years now.
3 years
on
going
Instagram.
hard on it.
Yeah,
because it's an epic account. Yeah, you should go check it out if you're listening. And we like everything is going to be in the show notes as well. And there was this one piece where this man had this wire that was starting to get finished, and he was trying to express something for his woman, and she was like flicking him off or something, or she couldn't just understand him. Can a woman see when a man is hurting? So from your experience, can a woman actually feel when her man is off internally? And if she can, why do so many couples still miss each other emotionally? And I've had that experience as well. Like in the beginning of our marriage, my dad just passed away before we met. And I had this moment like opening up about it, and I could like feel her physically just like tense because she was behind me and we were on a beach in Thailand. I could feel her body just like tense and just like, I just felt the distance growing and she just like going into freeze mode and automatically, without me realizing, being conscious about it, my heart and my body just like locked that and put those emotions away like that. So, can you share an experience of you sharing your vulnerability and that not being okay? What is this? Like when I started this podcast, I asked like so many men's work teachers, like, is it okay for a man to cry in front of his woman? Because that was such a big question I had.
Mhm.
I'm still not sure about what I think about it today.
It is a challenging question.
Yeah.
I say for general rule of thumb, no.
Yeah.
Like for just the common man, no.
Is it that they get the ick? Or what's going on there?
It just comes back to this piece of leadership.
Yeah.
If your boss came to you, right? You got this job and your boss came to you and he was like, "Man, Morgan, I don't know what we're going to do. Everything's like falling apart. The sales just went to nothing this month. I'm trying to figure out like, he came to you with that type of conversation.
Yeah.
What's the first thing that you would do?
I would just the first thing that came to mind was like, holy fuck, he's breaking down. This is not going anywhere great. I might need to jump ship. Yeah. Boom.
I probably need to go find a different place for my safety and security of my financial future. So I think just right there, it's the gut reaction. It's like he's losing it. He's not okay. And I think women have this natural codependent nature. Like if we're not okay, they can't be okay. If you're not like you'll see it in the household. If the man is not okay, no one else is going to be okay either. Even if he's not saying anything, even if he's not like purposefully expressing it, like if his heart gets shut down or he's going through something, like no one else in there is going to be okay either. They can't. We are the thermometer. Like we're dictating the temperature. We have the capacity to absorb the emotions. And I'm not saying you should like put up with abuse or anything like that, right? We need to be able to have conversations, but like we're built to handle this type of stuff. And I just don't think that the women are. And maybe they can level up to a capacity where like they can handle it and they can train these behaviors, because I do believe it is also a skill. Like it is a thing that can be accomplished. I just think naturally it isn't built in them. And they're also naturally like viewing us as the thermometer, as the leader. They want us to do that. So when you put them in this position where my rule of thumb for the guys when it comes to vulnerability, yes, be vulnerable with your girl, with your woman when you're going through things, but come here first. Come to the men first. Like if you're going through something like your father just passed, your business is not doing well, you just got fired from your job, whatever it was, come to us first. Like perfect example, when I started making content around the time that I started making content was back, around 2020. And it was because I went to work one day and like got fired. And luckily I had a mentor at the time. And I remember like leaving the job and calling him up and I was just like, dude, hey, listen, like I just got fired. I don't know what to do. She doesn't have a job anymore. We're about to like our second baby is about to be born in a month. Like it's not like any day
Holy
now.
shit.
This baby could be born. I just lost this job and now COVID's here. And like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get another job. They shut down my whole industry, right? I'm freaking out. I'm going to have to sell my car. I'm going to sell all of the stuff in our house. I'm probably going to have to move back in with my parents. Right. And you just imagine me going home and having that conversation with my wife, right? Where I'm just telling her all these things like, babe, I'm freaking out. I don't know what we're going to do, right? We're about to have this baby. I don't know what we're going to do with the health insurance. I don't know. We're going to sell the car, maybe move back in with my parents, like all of this stuff. You're throwing all of this on her and with no solution either is the problem. You just venting out everything. And her immediate response, their immediate reaction is typically to go into, well, I have to fix it now. If he's struggling, like I was counting on him to have this job. Like he told me I could leave my job because he was going to take care of all of this. I don't want to sell our car. I don't want to move in with his parents. We're about to have this baby. I'm about to have another baby. I don't want to do that like this. Right. And it's all just going to spiral to probably some type of conclusion of like, is this guy the right guy? Is this guy going to be able to do what he promised me he would do? Because for the ladies, they sacrifice so much for us. They sacrifice so much, man. They sacrifice their youth, all the other opportunities they could have for a beautiful girl. She sacrificed tons of opportunities for you. She could have been with a ton of different guys. And she spent all of her youth with you, all of those years, the best years where she could have went and found anyone else with you. And then she sacrificed her body and gave you children, the most beautiful thing a woman can do for a man. She sacrificed so much because you promised her that you were going to give her a good life. And if you don't, they will be resentful because of the level of sacrifice. And we the same thing for us, right? If she's not appreciative of like what we are bringing into the family with all the sacrifice of the hours we put in and the work that we do and the shit that we put up with, it can get super resentful inside the relationships very, very quickly, right? But in these scenarios of vulnerability, I did not go to her that morning. I went to my guys. I went to my mentor. And he could just cool-headed, like objectively, like, all right, hey, listen, let's start calling people. Call your old job. I'm going to call a bunch of people I know. Just call everybody that you know. And literally within 2 hours, we found me another job. It's like, Vinny's got this thing lined up for you. It's a shoe-in. They need somebody. He already put in a good word. They were like, just come in and interview and it's yours. Now I can go and have this conversation, right? And it's a very different type of conversation. Why? Because I'm bringing the solution. I have a solution now. And I'm going to explain how she's going to be a part of the solution. Like, it's not just venting and complaining and breaking down. It's, hey, I'm sorry, I haven't gotten back to you. Like, some shit went down this morning. I lost my job. But I talked to Dusty. We got a hold of Vinny. We already got something else lined up. I'm going to make more money, which is good, but I'm going to have to travel a bit more. Okay. So like, as we're going through this process, I'm just going to need you to hold it down. Like, we can get in touch with my parents if you need any help or anything, but like, I'm going to need you to hold down the fort for a little bit while we make this transition. Right. How do you think she received that conversation versus the first one?
That is night and day, brother.
It's totally different. It's totally different. So for the guys, I would recommend being vulnerable in the areas where you've already solved this thing, right? Where it's like, this thing really messed me up back in the day, but I've overcome it. Or be vulnerable in these areas where it's like, I'm going through this, but here's my solution. Here's how it's going to benefit you. And here's how you're a part of the solution. That's the framework. Like, if you put it in that framework, it's going to work out so much better. Because every guy that I've ever met has this story. I opened up to her and everything got ruined. Like, it just ruined. It changes everything. And all the guys are like, she keeps telling me that's what she wants. She keeps telling me that's what she wants. That she doesn't know what she wants. Like, they know not what they ask for in this scenario. Okay? Truly.
So true. Are there other things that women say that they want, but they actually don't want? For example, like, I hear this because I'm in my 40s. There are a lot of women that are divorced, dudes getting divorced around this age, and they say that I want a emotionally mature man, is what I hear most common. What is going on here?
Here's what I think they mean by that.
Yeah.
They want a guy who's not going to be triggered by their emotions. That's what I think that really means.
Yeah, I think so too.
right? Because you've done the work, you understand this, where it's like a big part of our problem is because of our own wounds. Is like her being upset, it triggers us into one of these coping mechanisms: fight, flight, freeze, fawn, right? And everyone's got a different combination of those that they'll go to in different scenarios. And it's like, can you do the work to build awareness of like which systems you go into, and then catch yourself when you're about to go into them and, okay, let's respond appropriately instead of reacting and making everything worse. Because I don't know about you, but whenever my wife gets upset about something, me also getting upset never helps. It's never made anything better. So there's this weathering of the storm, but also not giving into the storm is part of the balance for the guys, where it's like my wife can be upset about anything she wants. Be mad, be sad, be upset about whatever. But you're also not going to hurt me or our children just because you're emotional.
Can you share the distinction between venting and like actually abusing you? Where's the line? So this is
Name
important.
calling.
So
Name calling is the
name
biggest line.
calling. All
It's
right.
the biggest line.
Can we go deep into like how does a man know when he's being emotionally abused versus when his woman is just overwhelmed and needs him to hold space? Where's the line? And you mentioned something here, name
Yeah,
calling.
easy line is name calling. Because the way women abuse is they attack a man directly in his soul, his spirit, his identity. You're a loser. You're a piece of shit. You're not enough. You never do anything right. You're always this. You're always that. That is abuse. If there's name calling, like in a vicious, like malicious way towards you, she is directly attacking your soul. She's ripping you apart piece by piece. What would you call it if someone did that to a child?
Abuse.
Abuse.
Yeah.
If you're like, you're a
That'd be
piece of shit.
horrible.
You're a
Yeah.
loser. You're nothing. You're destroying them. So why is it any different with the men? And if a guy did that to a woman, what's it called?
Yeah. What's it called? It's the same.
Why
Or
is
worse.
why is it so hard to just flip the mirror around? Like, why is it so difficult to just take her behaviors, pretend like you did what she was doing? Would that be okay?
Why is it like that? It's hard to just flip the switch because we are expected that we should take it. We're expected that we should be able to take a slap or even physical abuse from a woman, and that it shouldn't be a big deal. What's your thoughts about
I
that?
think it's a poor expectation.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything about a relationship that says healthy if people are hitting each other or verbally abusing each other.
Mm.
And I don't think there's it's a belief system that gets put in specifically the nice guys to endure. Because typically they're growing up in this type of experience.
Mm.
Like they end up with a woman like this or create a woman like this because that's what they're most comfortable in dealing with in a really weird way. Right? They've endured this type of abuse before, so it's normal to them. Right? They feel like they're expected to do that in a way like this is just how it goes. This is how it's always been. But I don't think it's a healthy thing to say we should expect that. I think what a lot of guys struggle to do, it's very easy. It's very easy. All you have to do, if there's ever a behavior where you're like, that doesn't feel good, that seems questionable, I don't know if we should do that, just flip it. Just agree with her.
All right.
Agree with her. Like if she's, let's say she is going, like she goes out on a dinner with some guy and doesn't tell you about it and you find out. Right. A lot of guys will be like, well, it's nothing. Like it's one of these things. Maybe it isn't a boundary for you guys. I don't know what your relationship's like, but she does something real sneaky like that, or she's berating you and calling you names. All you have to do is say, oh, geez, babe, sorry. I had no idea that it was a good thing for us to. I didn't know this created connection and love and growth in our relationship if I just call you a bitch every day. I didn't know that it was a really good way for us to better our relationship by me going and having a date behind your back with one of our friends' spouses. geez, oh man, I don't know why I didn't think of this.
I love this concept of flipping it. And just to like shoe in another perspective that has arisen from the self-help community, especially when it comes to female and masculine dynamics. And if you've read a lot of David Data's work, he would say, I like maybe misphrasing here, but if a woman is shouting and even hurting you, like slapping you, punching you, whatever, she is doing it. We are supposed to see that as a symptom that she needs your presence and your aliveness, because she's doing that because you are just going away from her. You are not stepping into your full presence and yada, yada, yada. Have you encountered like these arguments or this way of thinking when it comes to just
I
being a
don't think
man and having this dynamic with the female?
I don't think it's wrong to say she needs you to like do something to make her feel okay. I think it's probably true,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean you have to do it.
All right.
That is you. We're not responsible. I'm not responsible for her emotions. I'm not responsible for making her feel better. I'm not responsible for her bad behaviors. Like that's on her. It is not, if I take care of her the best I can, she'll be able to take care of me the best she can. That's a codependent relationship. No, we're both doing the work. We're doing the work separately and coming together. It's, I'm going to take care of myself the best I possibly can so that I can bring the best version of me to you. And I need you to take care of yourself the best you possibly can so that you can bring the best version of you to me. And together we can be better. That's how it works. And then we're each other's cheerleaders. And like, I'm there to support her through the hard times and, you know, be there to like, for her to vent through her emotions and take all that stuff. But like, I don't need to do anything with it. That's the mistake that a lot of guys make. When she's venting, when she's complaining, you don't need to do anything. Do less and have a better relationship. How beautiful does that sound? So many guys are so worried about like doing all these things and fixing all this stuff for her. When in reality, what ends up happening, like she comes and she's venting to you about her commute to work, or she's venting to you about this person she's dealing with at her job, or whatever it may be. Our gut reaction is men. Because if we were talking as men, it would be totally fine. It would be normal for me to be like, Morgan, why don't you go to HR and talk to them about this? This is what I've done in those scenarios. Dude, why don't you, like, if you tried the train, if you tried like this other path to get there, like
Yeah.
we talk about solutions. When women to get together as a group and talk, it's different most of the time, right? They connect in a different way than we connect. Like I'll often hear like two women, I'll be like eating at a Chipotle or something, and I'll hear like two women behind me just talking about some other person that I don't know and how much they hate them. They're loving every second of it. And they'll do the whole time, like a full half hour, just Becky is a bitch and we both hate Becky. They're connecting. I don't think it's a healthy way to connect, but that's how they're doing it. Right. And part of what they're doing, this piece for women, like this safety and security piece, I also think there's this piece of they need acceptance of who they are. They need acceptance of who they are to feel safe with you. Okay. So if they need acceptance of who they are to feel safe with us, have you ever had someone come up to you while you're doing something that you are pretty competent at, like you know what you're doing, and maybe you don't even know them? They're like, Morgan, let me show you how to really do this. Looks like you're probably fucking this up. You ever have something like that? Like puts his hand on your shoulder. Like how would you react to something like that?
Like,
How do you feel?
Yeah, that happened when I was going to make a fire, and this guy thought that he was like this bushcraft aficionado, and I've been like, I do this like 4 times a week with my boys and my daughter. So I was like, yeah, I was just like shrugging it off. I kept building the fire.
Right, right. But you like, as far as that goes, typically I would experience races like, I feel like this dude's like judging me.
Yeah. All
right. You feel immediately judged, and there's an immediate like, I'm definitely not connecting with him. We didn't just become closer.
No.
That's so there's this element of that with our ladies when they come to us to vent and complain and express like their genuine thoughts, feelings, and emotions to us. This is their version of being vulnerable with us. Like they're putting all of that out there. And one of the biggest mistakes we make is instead of connecting with them, we correct them. We're correct
Mm.
instead of connecting. We try to fix the thing that they're talking about instead of just acknowledging, right? You don't have to validate their experience or their emotions because you might be like, that's kind of fucked up that you feel that way. But just simply acknowledging, like, babe, I hear you and I understand like why you would feel that way. And then ask a very simple question. Do you need anything? Do you need anything from me?
Mm.
Right? And that'll give you everything you need to know. Right? Everything you need to know is right there once you've done that. And now she feels seen and heard and safe. Whereas before, I would make this mistake a lot. A lot of guys that get into, self-improvement, it's like positive talk, right? Everyone probably has a season of their life where like, I just got to speak positively, speak it into existence. Yeah, everybody. Yeah, you got all those books. I know you went through a season like this. And one of
Think
the mistakes,
positive. Shouldn't say it like that. You're reinforcing your beliefs. You're affirming shit I don't want in my life. Stop it. Yeah, we've gone through that.
and listen, like there's a lot of, you do have to set boundaries on how you talk to yourself and how you allow other people to talk about you and to you, right? That is a real thing. But one of the big mistakes that people make whenever they go down that journey is like, you start correcting your wife a lot. Like you start, telling her like, well, you got to stop thinking of it so negatively. Why are you being so negative about it? Right. And immediately what that does for them, it shuts them down. They got to wear a mask around you. They got to wear the happy, smiley wife mask around you. And the same thing that happens to us whenever like we express that vulnerable side to them, where it's like, I'm never doing that again. That's what happens to them too in these scenarios. And then you have a wife that feels like she can't be authentic, can't be herself around you. And then both of you are feeling that way. You're both wearing these masks and just drifting further and further apart. How can you love someone if you don't really know who they are? It's not possible. That's why when nice guys wear that mask their whole lives, they're unlovable. You're unlovable. If you're leaning on your coping mechanisms and these masks of like you're not your true authentic self, at best they love your mask, but they don't actually love you. The worst thing that can actually happen to you is someone falls in love with your mask because then you think it works. And then you go down this path it's doomed to fail. It's doomed to fail because the women see you. They see you. She sees you. She knows who you really are. She knows what's going on after she spends enough time with you. And she's not going to like that you're hiding. She's not going to like that you're lying. She's not going to like that you're not being authentically you. She's not going to like that you don't even know who you are. And if you don't know who you are, how is she supposed to know who you are? And if she doesn't know who you are, she can't ever actually love you. And this is the trap for the nice guys. You're unlovable. The one thing you desire most, you can never dub as that. What a terrible way to bring a boy up.
Man, I'm getting goosebumps here. For sure. So I just completely went into what you were saying and lost my next train of thought. What the fuck is going on, man?
It's okay. It's a lot. It's
No, because I'm just like living myself into what you're saying because it feels like I'm been going through everything we're talking about here. And the one thing I wanted to ask you that kind of ties to this is I started laughing so hard because I saw myself in this piece of content where he was like screaming into the camera or in a podcast like, "Don't be Captain Save-A-Ho." Have you seen this one?
bro.
Yeah,
I don't know that I have, but I understand the sentiment.
So you've seen the dynamic, like the rescuer, the guy who thinks love means fixing, saving, carrying. So what's really going on in this man?
We're talking about the white knight type of guys.
Yeah. Is it also the nice guy that often happens to jump into this trap?
Yeah.
And please add on, like, what are the red flags in a woman where we should just like take a step back and pause for a second before we go any further with this woman?
That one, it's honestly, it's difficult for me on the red flags piece of it.
Yeah.
I think everyone has to genuinely come up with their own. I mean, there's some that I guess can be universal. For me, when I look at like big topics like finances and religion or spirituality and politics and family and futures, like, are you guys aligned on all of that? Right? Like, are you guys on the same page when it comes to that stuff? Because all that stuff's pretty important if you want to build something together. Like, can we see it eye? Because a lot of people make this mistake of like, well, we don't see eye to eye in our politics, which maybe other places is different than here. We just have two sides that are pretty polarized, right? Or we don't see eye to eye in our religious beliefs. And a lot of people are like, well, that's not that big of a deal. We can fix that, or I can convert to this or whatever. And it's like,
Mm.
how are you going to raise your children? This isn't just like a thing. This is a worldview. This is how you make all of the decisions in your life. This is how you view everything. It's not just a little thing. So I always look at those things like these are big things that you should probably be on the same page with. Does she want kids? Do you want kids? How many do you want? All of that changes once you have one. You're like, turns out I don't want 10. Wow. And even, even for me and my wife personally, like we met very young. We met when we were 20, 21 years old.
Okay.
And we got married when I was 24. So like we jumped into the game before we even really knew who we are. And we struggled, man. We shouldn't have gotten married. Like we didn't know why. I didn't know why I was getting married. It was just time. We've been together for 4 years now. I guess it's time to, do this thing and move on. I don't want to lose her. So like, let's just get married. But I didn't know what it meant to like be in spiritual covenant with my wife. I didn't know what it meant to like be a leader of the family. I was nowhere near becoming a good man. I was such a poor example of a man at that point in my life. So for us, when I look at the example of us and a lot of other people that I meet that end up having like good, healthy relationships, it didn't start that way. Like there were red flags. Like the red flags were there. When I met my wife, she was engaged.
Okay. Yeah. Red flag.
That's a pretty red flag. Wouldn't you say that's a big red flag?
Yeah. The biggest one.
When she met me, I was a drug dealer. Like
Oh, yeah. Red flag on you.
red flag, right? We were both very much, and this is probably true for a lot of the people that end up like becoming successful. Like we were underdogs. Like I wasn't supposed to do anything with my life. We probably should. We should have definitely ended up on the path of divorce and just misery and just nothing working out for us. The change was mentorship. We just completely lucked out. Like literally months after we got married, I entered into this mentorship program and we started a business together. And the business went terribly. Like it failed so hard for like 5 to 7 years, just nothing until we finally moved on from it. But it got us into the books. It got us around people who were successful, people who had like loving and caring relationships, people who had, had connection with higher power. It was like all these things that were non-existent in our lives prior to that. Both of us came from divorced families. Both of us I grew up from a family that's, a lot of it is poverty, addiction, and divorce. Like those are the family curses that I come from. I grew up going to AA meetings with my uncles when they would babysit me.
Wow.
So it's like I didn't have a great foundation, and neither did she from her side. So when we look at like the red flags and like how do you choose the right ones, I'm like, I don't know. Like I'm a bad example of that. So I don't have great answers because myself, as well as a lot of the other people I meet, like they overcame all of that because there was willingness on both sides to grow and connect and make things better. So the number one thing that has to be there, that if it isn't there, you're doomed no matter what, is willingness. Like, are they willing to set their egos aside and go into some type of couples therapy, go into some type of development program, go into something where we're going to be like working on ourselves separately, but also figuring our stuff out together. I don't see any other way to create a healthy marriage, like a truly healthy one, unless you had an incredible example that somehow like figured all that out and got the information and has been passing it down. Like, I don't see any other answers than that because 90% of the people, like we talked about, the minority are successful in business. I think 90% of the people in their relationships and their marriage are miserable. Like, they're not actually fulfilled. They're not actually happy. They're not okay, even if it looks like they are. Like, there's a lot of businesses that look like they're doing well that are like not doing good at all. And it's the same thing with the relationships. Like, half of them end in divorce, and then I think another 40% are just they're not actually happy. So it has to be these two people that are really like committed to becoming the best versions of themselves and are aligned on those big things so that they can like come up with common goals to work on together. And then it helps to have some outside accountability, right? To have like a mentor, a coach, a therapist that can point out her stuff, right, to her and point out our stuff to us. Because everybody needs a coach. Every great athlete has had a coach because when you're on the field and like everything is happening, it's fast paced and you're just like reacting and running the plays, you don't see everything that's going on, but he's on the court. He's like up high above in the blimp or something. He's looking down and he can see everything that's going on. And he can go, well, if you just went this way when that happens, like that's a touchdown every time. Like you're going to score every time, but you keep you keep running the wrong way. And you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Then you make your shifts and adjustments. So like, I think there's, for every healthy couple, you need that. And then to go into the white knight stuff, you want me to talk about that a little?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of my closest friends and also a couple of my brothers and even myself in one relationship. I was trying to fix somebody or my friends trying to fix somebody. After going through that myself and then seeing them going through that same path, I didn't stop calling them until they got out of the relationship. I don't know if it was right or wrong, but all of them thanked me afterwards because they were dealing with a psychopath or a narcissist where their money got lesser, their health got lesser, their mental capacity got like everything just like went down. So that was a marker for if you're in a good relationship, things should go in a positive direction, and if you're in a bad relationship, like every single life category goes in a negative direction. Is this your experience? And what's your thoughts about this?
Yeah, you're draining, right? Like we talk
Yeah,
about
yeah.
what's the point of all this? Well, things should be better.
Exactly. Yeah,
Are
exactly.
things getting better or are they getting worse?
Mhm.
Right? And if things are just getting progressively worse for both of you, what are you doing? It's a toxic relationship. You're just not compatible. Maybe she's not really that bad of a person. She just hates you for some reason. I don't, right? You know what I mean? Like, because there is an element of this where, especially for the nice guys, if we don't fix our bullshit, we turn them into those people.
All right. Please share more about this.
Well, when
Because we
we
all often put the blame on the narcissist or the psychopath without taking responsibility for what is my part in this relationship. Why did I attract this person? Or how did I show up or lack thereof put us in this situation?
Yeah, yeah. Some guys, it's the one of two things. Like you attract one and she just is that way out the gate. Or maybe she isn't really that way in the beginning, but over time she turns into that, which I think is maybe it's a 50-50 split,
All
honestly.
right.
It's hard to say. The accountability on the guy side either way is like, number one, you chose her if she was always like this. You chose her. And then the other piece of it is like, you allowed her to treat you this way. You've allowed you have no boundaries. You have no boundaries at all. You don't have any boundaries in your finances. You don't have any boundaries in the way she talks to you, the way she treats you. You don't have anything going on there. You're just doing whatever she wants you to do so that she doesn't leave. And that's a guarantee to make her leave or to make you miserable for the rest of your life. And either one of those is a great outcome.
Yeah, so true. I have this thing about men's work. There's a lot out there. And in your opinion, what ideas in modern men's work do you think are straight up harmful or BS? What do we need to stop teaching men, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think there's one organization in particular I won't say any names, but like we've had some of their guys come to us recently, and we get guys like that come over from different organizations from time to time. And it really sucks.
Do you mean men's work organizations? All right.
Yeah, it doesn't happen often, but typically by the time they come, like the damage has already been done. And one of the worst things that I've seen is when they teach this, like, you gotta just weather her storms. You gotta just be able to absorb all of her. Like you were talking about earlier, like this concept with data. Like if she's hitting
Yeah.
you, if she's yelling you, it's because she needs you to step into that. And there's just this complete lack of accountability in some of these organizations for the women. And oftentimes, if you look hard enough, it's because it's actually ran by a woman. It's ran by that guy's wife.
Just like, thank you for just sharing this. Let's continue because I never hear this point of view. Thank you. Let's go on. We
Yeah.
need to hear this.
What ends up happening is now you have an authority figure, right? That you have submitted you and your wife under, and they're running this play where essentially they're telling her, hey, he's the problem. He's the problem. We need to fix him. And it gives her this level of authority over the man. And she will oftentimes end up it's this perpetual cycle of, like, one of the things that I've seen them do as well is where they'll tell the men that they have to confess everything that they do or think that is, like, against whatever these rules are in the community. So if some guys were like, overcoming, porn addiction or something, it's like anytime you look at another woman, anytime you watch porn, you have to come to your wife and tell her all about it. And you also have to tell her about every sexual experience you've ever had. You have to tell her about, like, they're just opening these floodgates of all this stuff that's it's damaging to her. It's super damaging to her. And then putting her in a position where she gets to control and shame the husband for these behaviors, whatever they are, just over and over and over again, making it doesn't help him become better. That's for sure. Like, shame is one of our biggest issues that we have to deal with when guys come into the group. It's like, hey, what are the I am statements that you deal with while you're trying to fall asleep? Like, let's just navigate those real quick. Like, I'm a piece of shit. I'm a loser. I'm never enough. I can't do anything right. Right? It's like all of this shame that we have that has been put into us by other people. That's been programmed into you. And now you're giving her, his most intimate and closest relationship, the power to do that to him all over again. It breaks him. It breaks her. And it's fucking irreparable. It's irreparable. There's no coming back from shit like that. Because now she's convinced that's the way everything should work. She's convinced, no, this guy in the group and this leader, like, in his whole thing, that this is how it's supposed to go. Guys have to be perfect, and they have to share with me anything that they ever do that isn't perfect, so they can rebuild my trust. And it's just it's so backwards. And some of these guys, unfortunately, when you look behind the curtains, it's like the whole thing's run by the wife, or a lot of these guys, especially if they're placating to the women, they're fucking the women. Like, there's so many. You look at any of these social media influencers where it's a guy that just bashes men. That's all he does. That dude lives off of the attention and validation of women. The dude is manipulating women at a high level, and they can't see it. They don't see the wolf in sheep's clothing like we see it. We know what that shit is because we probably did it a time or two when we were younger. Like we tried that shit. We're like, whatever I can, whatever gets me laid, I don't care. Whatever will work. Like I was like an overweight little fat loser kid. Like if I can get laid, I'll do anything.
Yeah.
So it's like, so I think there are unfortunately some organizations that like really do some damage. I'm not going to talk shit about anybody in particular or anything like that. People find out for themselves if they join the organizations. But I also I think there's a lot of great stuff that's going on right now too. Like I've met a lot of really, really solid guys, a lot of really great people. And I don't agree with everything that they're saying, but like it's working for the guys. So like if you're getting the results, if things are getting better for the guys, if the relationships are getting better, then obviously something is working. But it's these ones where it always ends in scandals, it always ends in corruption, it always ends in like this weird stuff. You hate to see that because it's not just that it was a bad organization. It was they did real evil. Like it's really evil. Even if they unknowingly did it, it is real evil to destroy love that could have been repairable and savable. And now you've completely just smashed it to pieces where she's probably never going to be able to have a healthy relationship again. And this guy has got to put the pieces back together and try to have some semblance of a life now.
Great note of warning there, because there was this Swedish documentary called Holy Fuck with a Tantra guru coming to Sweden from Holland. And we have a couple of friends who joined that sect. And holy shit, they got so traumatized doing things that was beyond their, what you call it, like both their values, comfort zone, integrity, in the name of getting enlightened. So even when it comes to men's group or religious groups or tantric communities, be cautious, be aware. And what should you be like, just to help somebody be cautious before they get involved in a community? What would you say to that person?
Challenge everything.
Yeah.
Ask
questions.
If you're not able to challenge the leader and get like real conversations and responses and explanations instead of getting gaslit, right? Instead of going into like the whole Darvo scenario where it's just denying and attacking and reversing victim offender type of thing that people will do. Like if you're not able to have real conversations and come to understanding as to why they're doing what they're doing, challenge everything. Like it's the number one rule in our group. It's like, if you don't like what I'm saying, if you disagree with what we're teaching, please challenge it. Because if it's wrong, we'll make it better, right? And you have that's how you know you're not in a cult.
Yeah.
Right? Because I've been in a cult before. You can't it's do everything this way so that you can get the results that we all have. This is how you reach this. Do all of what we have done and don't question it. And if you question it, you get shamed. And if you leave, like you get excommunicated. Anyone who leaves is a loser. Anyone who leaves is like a bad person. They've fallen off doing things that we don't agree with. Like you don't want to be corrupted by that person.
Yeah.
Like, that's how you know you're in a cult, when you can't freely discuss. Like there's no free thinking involved.
Yeah, great point. And when it comes to cults, Andrew Tate, why him? Whether people love him or hate him, he exploded. So what do you think he tapped into psychologically in young men? And what does his popularity say about the current state of masculinity?
Well, he's a genius businessman. That's what he really is. Like I watched, you're probably familiar with like affiliate marketing and how all that works, right?
Yeah,
And there was a big time of that when TikTok was first beginning to explode. And what you found was some of these affiliate companies. There was one called Legendary Marketer that I had joined, where I learned like how to set up stuff for e-commerce and how to build a brand online. And what they do is they reel you in by like teaching you how to make money online, right? Like that is the thing that they're promising. We're going to teach you how to make money online. And they give you a lot, like there's a lot of great stuff in there. Like it's actually very valuable information. But at the end of it, it's like you can either create or go sell other people's products, or you can just sell the course that we just taught you.
Yeah.
Right? And he did that. That's exactly what
Mm.
he did. So he not only did he do that, but instead of having people like build their own brands to like send people into his community and like buy the product, he gave them a whole library of all of his videos. So as he built this thing up, it eventually got to a place where there was like 20,000 guys posting his videos 3 to 5 times a day and bringing in new people into his communities. And all of these videos are proven to be viral. Right?
Yeah.
They're all proven to be viral videos. So these kids are like growing TikTok accounts and like having success there. And then they're making 50% profits of the monthly recurring revenue for the people that are joining the community.
Mm.
It's only like $50 a month or $100. It was something small, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
But when you scale that to 20,000, 40,000 people, and then you're teaching all of those people how to grow your brand to benefit them and you, it exploded. It exploded. And that's why all of those people were highly incentivized to post his clips. And now you see whole businesses like these clipping agencies that
Yeah.
like will post your clips across all of these accounts, right? It came from that. They saw what he did. It was super, super effective strategy. And like to the point of like why is he resonating with all the young boys is because there's a huge void there. There's no mentorship. A lot of kids don't have dads at all or don't have an emotionally present dad. They don't have a dad that is teaching them, that is mentoring them to become better men. So like where are they going to go? Where are they? Because they're spent like a lot of their life just being told that being a man is a bad thing in general now in our society. There was like there was a real era there for a good, I don't know, 5 years or so where men were just demonized, just toxic masculinity, all of these terms that were getting spit out and like viral on that end with the feminists. By the way, like their videos, they go viral and nothing is ever wrong. There's never any issues. They don't get their accounts taken down.
Yeah, but we saw also men starting using like that term toxic masculinity. TED
Yeah.
talks about toxic masculinity and podcasts about it. And yeah,
It's bullshit.
yeah.
It's such a bullshit term. No one has ever been able to give me a valid like explanation of what that actually is.
Yeah, because I don't know what toxic femininity is. So how can I know what toxic masculinity is?
Yeah, and when you ask like, well, what would something that's not toxic masculinity be? And they'd be like, well, empathy and caring and like nurturing and like, that type of stuff. I'm like, but isn't that femininity?
Yeah.
So are we just saying like all the men should just be feminine now?
Yeah.
Like that, and that's what happened. There's a ton of really feminine men because they were convinced that's the right thing to do. That's what makes me a good man if I become this way. You've destroyed a generation of men and polarized the other half of that generation. So it's like half of them are all fucked up and don't know right from wrong, and the other half of them are like full red pill. Truly, like one of them's my best friend, like one of my best friends. He was full red pill. He was like 17 years old when I started making TikTok videos.
Can you just explain red pill for our audience?
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's even nuance into that, but
Yeah.
essentially the red pill community it's a lot of guys that claim to be doing like men's work, but it's very centered. The way I would explain it that makes sense to me and like the guys that I talk to, and maybe towards this conversation when we talk about like mind, heart, body, spirit, it is guys who have completely repressed hearts. It's typically guys that are leading in those communities have been deeply hurt by women. And they've decided that all women are bad, just like extreme feminists have decided all men are bad. And it's better to just use them as objects and tools to get what you want than to ever commit to them. Use them to get children, use them to get sex, use them to get whatever it is that you want from them. But don't ever put yourself in a position where they could hurt you. Right? Don't ever take your armor off to let her inside and see like the real you and be any type of vulnerable or committed towards her. That's very dangerous. Why is that dangerous? Because of their experiences with women. It was very damaging to them. A lot of them experience like terrible divorces. A lot of them experience probably abusive relationships. So it's not that I'm not knocking them for going that direction. It's kind of natural for them to go in that direction, but you're basically just projecting your wound out to all of these kids who are probably also in an experience where they're not having great experiences with women either. So they're like, this makes sense. It's not my fault. They're just fucking crazy feminists, like gold digging whores. All women are just gold digging whores. This makes so much more sense. No wonder I'm not having any success. I'm not jacked and I don't have a bunch of money yet. These guys do. That's why there's women all around them all the time. They don't know that those are just like, they are gold digging whores. That's literally who they are. Like, that's who those guys attract because that's who they are.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's the only type of woman that you could actually have a relationship with. And they have this completely convoluted view of like what love is, because love for them is transactional. There's no real connection. They've turned their hearts off. They can't connect. So that's how I would explain the culture of red pill. And there's various degrees. Like, people call me red pill. I think anybody that does any types of men's work can probably be lumped into red pill, because I think a big piece of men's work is realizing that like we do have to lead. We do have to step up. Like we do have to be the decision makers and take on the weight and the responsibility. And for anybody that is like a feminist, they're in full disagreement with that.
And while you explained what red pill was, I also think that you gave the answer to why his popularity just like got shot through the roof. And
It was manufactured.
yeah, it was manufactured. And what about like raising a son? Do you
I have 3 daughters.
Okay, 3. I'm going to ask you this anyway, because I have
Okay.
1 daughter. I have 2 sons. If you're raising a boy today, what's non-negotiable? What do we absolutely have to get right?
I think he has to know that being a man is a good thing. I think just number one thing, you cannot shame him for being a man. And anything that he does that is in our nature, right? Yeah, we got to correct some behaviors, but you have to work really hard not to just the boys and the girls. Like, be very careful with our words towards them and our corrective behaviors and how we go about that. Because there's these you are statements that we put into them that become seeds of doubt that eventually turn into identities of shame that they'll carry for the rest of their life if they don't go in and remove them. So it's just be very careful how we talk to them. We're the safest place in the world for them. Like, we're the only people that they just fully love and want to be completely attached to, and they can't live without us. So this whole, I'm not a big firm believer in like how people are using attachment theory for adults in these days, but it is a very real concept for the children, because they're completely dependent. They have to attach to us to survive and get the love and affection that they need, and they're going to adapt to us in whatever way they see fit to get that from us. So it's like, be aware of that, and be very aware with the boys. Like, let him be a boy, let him make mistakes, let him go rough up, let him run, let him explore, let him be wild. Like, just let him do things, especially for the moms. Like, your boy's gonna hurt himself. It's okay. He'll be all right. Let him do those things. Let him take those risks, because he's going to have to develop a level of risk taking and adventure to really fulfill that calling in our spirits, man. Like, we need that shit. We really do. A man who is like not taking risks and not going on any adventures at all, he's just kind of dead inside. He's the guy, like, you see him and you're like, how's it going? He's like, oh, another day, another dollar, same shit, different day.
Yeah.
Living the dream. Anybody who says those things, they have given up on their life.
Yeah. In Sweden, they say you should not complain, and then you just go on. You should not complain. People have it worse. I
Don't
feel
steal
that
me away.
like it's my job as a dad to stop their mom from like protecting them from that adventure that you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a challenge. Moms are very protective.
Yeah. But I also have like a higher level of physical awareness of like a physical IQ, if that makes sense, that I can see that this will go okay, but the mom and I think it was a Netflix documentary talking about like when the mom goes through her first birth, her frontal lobe, and when it comes to detecting dangers, like goes up 100-fold or 1,000. It was like this crazy number. So
Yeah.
everything is like considered a threat. And how do you talk to each other, like the man and the woman, after she has given birth? Because you haven't gone through that physiological change. Have you experienced like your woman being like too cautious, too careful, even like becoming that lion mom, latching on to you because you are not careful enough?
Yeah, I think for the ladies, their dominant emotion is fear. So once they bring they bring a child in and those changes begin to happen, it ramps it up. And you probably experienced it. They just start coming up with the craziest scenarios,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And it doesn't help me telling them like that's a crazy scenario. If that is a
No.
scenario, I can tell you a different scenarios.
Yep. She's just like, what happens if when I'm at the grocery store, like I go to put one in the car seat and then someone just grabs the other one when I'm not looking? She's like, I don't just carry a gun. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're in America.
I'm sorry.
It is a real thing though. That definitely happens with the ladies. There's this aspect in the emotions of having like this fear base, like constantly seeking safety and security, constantly like checking to see if everything is okay. And this is also why it's very damaging for the boys who were primarily raised by women, because they learn those behaviors. Right? You'll see most guys that are, taught how to be a man by a woman, they'll tend to be very risk averse. Like a lot of the nice guys are very, very risk adverse. You really got to push them out there to take the risk and challenge themselves. So there is an element of that where when it comes to us and like how we've handled it, it's just this reassurance that we have to continually provide for them. Like that's definitely a piece that the ladies need, just constant reassurance, which is also, by the way, something you'll see with the nice guys. They have it flipped around. Like their system is built like a woman's. So you have to go in and rewire it. Like they're trying to get the women to reassure them. And that, because for us, we need appreciation. That's like for the men, like that is a core need that will help the relationship blossom. Appreciation for the women, acceptance, reassurance, and this safety and security. And I do believe in this concept of hypergamy in terms of she has to see us constantly striving for better. She has to see us chasing our potential. Right? The moment that she sees you just constantly slacking off and doing things that are just purely for your pleasure, that have no benefit to her or to the family, things are going to start going sideways. But these two pieces, this reassurance and appreciation, sometimes it gets swapped around in the guys and it creates tons of problems in their relationship where, reassurance would be if I was like, Morgan, listen, I just want to let you know I'm never going to leave you. I'll be here for you no matter what. Okay? Versus Morgan, listen, dude, all the work that you've been doing, I've been watching. And I just want to say, like, props to you. I really appreciate how well you've put this together. Like, I know how hard it is to edit these videos and put together the content and do everything that you're doing and reach out to all these guests. Like, I just appreciate the hell out of you for creating this because I know it's helping so many guys. Like, which one feels better?
The second one. The first one doesn't even like
Doesn't
bother
resonate.
me. Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah,
resonate.
it doesn't hit anything.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? But that's what they need from us.
Mm,
They need that reassurance piece of like, babe, I'm not going anywhere.
yeah.
I got you. That phrase, like, I got you, seems to really resonate with them. Like, I got you. I got this. I'm going to handle it. Everything's going to be okay.
Mhm.
Right. That seems to kind of bring them into a better place when they're getting into these like high fear and high emotional states. And then we do have to follow that up with execution, by the way. Like we can't just be like, no, I got it, and then like walk away. Like
Yeah.
that's also a big mistake the guys make, where you make all these promises and then you never follow through. It's a huge mistake we make on the consistency, because to get that safety and security piece back to it is like, you need to be consistent. You need to show up and be consistent. And that, man, that is challenging to just be on, like continue to be consistent in all these areas. That's why it's such a difficult path for so many men.
Yeah, 100% agree. And what stuck with me there was like that she needs to see us chase our potential. That really struck a chord with me. Love that. Brother, I need to invite you to the podcast again because I couldn't even come through like half of my questions. I love every single piece of this conversation. And I want to have like one last question before we ask people to join you, get connected with you on all of your platforms. So if a man listening right now feels behind in life, I feel that sometimes, even though I'm doing the work, I'm chasing, I'm like this FOMO always, and he feels late. He feels like he wasted years. What's the first move? Not the 20-step program, like the first move.
There's so many paths you could take that would be
Mm.
correct on this. I think the first move for a lot of guys is to just start being more kind to yourself. You know, that internal voice. A lot of guys don't realize that this voice in their head, this voice that keeps telling them like, you're a loser, you're behind, you're not doing enough, you're not doing enough, you're not doing enough. It's not your voice. It's not actually yours. That was given to you. Your children don't have that voice. It's not in their heads. Right? We're not born with that. So at some point, someone put that in there. Someone told you that that's who you were, or at least made you feel like that's who you were. And what ended up happening is you didn't have any way to defend yourself because you're just a kid. You're completely dependent on all the adults. You have to just accept whatever they say because you have no power at that stage of life. So you had no boundaries. You're not allowed to have boundaries. So you accept this into your belief system. And then at some point you got a result in life that proved that to be true. And it reinforced it as, and that's when they went from you're a loser, you're not enough, you'll never make it, to, man, they were right. And then it pulls up into your identity and it becomes a piece of who you are. And it becomes shame. It becomes these I am statements that you say to yourself over and over again. And you don't need them to berate you anymore. You don't need them to tell you those things anymore because you're just going to do it to yourself for the rest of your life. One of the biggest things we have to work on when guys come into the group is dealing with doubt, that battle right there, doubt and shame, and then teaching them how to grieve and process through loss. Because a man who has no doubts, a man that can always believe in himself and choose to believe in himself, in combination with a man that's not afraid to lose, who can stop that guy?
Yeah, amen. If people want to connect with you, how do they do that? What's the best way?
Right now, the best way, so on all the socials, you just search King's Community. So King's Community, and some of them have underscores, some of them don't. It's all different on the different socials. But you'll see there's a link to the Patreon in there, and that's kind of the entry level for everybody. So you get a free week inside of the Patreon. It's only like $10 to get a month to get access to the community. And when you sign up, you get a free week to check everything out. You also get a free call with me where we'll hang out, and whether we end up talking and you end up getting into one of our coaching programs, or we just hang out and we talk about some stuff that you're going through, doesn't matter to me. Okay. So anybody that wants to check things out, anybody that's looking for help or needs assistance, there's scholarships that are available as well. Just if you need help, come see if this is the right place for you. And it all begins in the Patreon. So join there. I'll reach out to you. I'll message you directly. We'll get things all set up for you, and then we'll figure out what the best course of action for you will be.
Amazing. I'll make sure it's in the show notes, guys, both on YouTube or if you're watching this on Spotify or whatever platform you are watching this on. JR, this has been a beautiful, beautiful conversation. And thank you for the work you do. And let's make a round number 2 of this conversation. I'll invite you again.
Happily, man. Thank you for having me on. It was a great convo. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I want to be really clear with something. This podcast doesn't grow because of me. It grows because you choose to follow it. Every time you do, it gives the show a little bit more reach, a little bit more weight. And that's what opens doors to deeper conversations and remarkable guests. So if you haven't followed yet, consider this an invitation. Not to support me, but to help shape what this becomes. We're building something for people who want to live deliberately, think freely, and create life on their own terms. If that resonates, you're already part of it. Hit follow and thank you for carrying this with me.